Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Richie with Raw Tactics, and today we're going to be answering the age-old question: how do I shoot fast and accurate from distance? And I'll tell you right now, it is all with your trigger. You're either going to be doing a controlled slap or a full prep. And stay tuned, I'm going to give you a great drill on how to master that so you are drilling shots in the A-zone from 25 yards plus and still shooting fast. Before we get started on these drills that you guys will be able to do, hey Nick, any luck on any sponsors over there yet? Still zero. Yeah, well, we're filming all these in the same day, so of course there's no sponsors yet. So, hey, like, subscribe, comment, tell us how we're doing, tell us what you think, tell us what you want to see. Okay, engage with us, we'll engage with you, and get out to a Raw Tactics class. Check out our website, rawtactics.com. 2025 is up. If you want to host us coming out, get a hold of us, we'll come out. You guys can host us and we will definitely give you some free spots in order when you're doing that. So let's get straight to it. Shooting fast and accurate from distance, 15 yards, 20, 25, 30, 50 yards. How do I maintain my accuracy and still be fast? Now, what is fast? Now, fast, slow, those are words that are very, very subjective. We just like to say, if you're shooting slow, let's just be cautious. If you're shooting fast, let's be more effective with our shots. And remember, when we are shooting at distance, it's not a cadence, it's not a rhythm, it's not anything like that that tells us when to shoot. It's when our optic, our sights, our front sight or our red dot comes into play into an acceptable or predictable hit zone. With a full prep of the trigger, you will get that shot off. And the quicker you get that sight back onto target, the quicker with a full prep, you can get that shot off. So a drill we're gonna be doing here is a dry fire drill mixed with live fire. What we're gonna do is we're gonna see how many walls we have in our gun and how to get back to that final wall as quickly as possible. Because the less travel you have in that wall, the less travel you have on that trigger manipulation, the less chance you have disturbing that sight picture, which you can get your shot off a whole lot quicker. All right, so remember, when trying to shoot fast and accurate, especially from distance, it is your sight picture that tells you when to shoot, nothing else. It's not a trigger reset, it's not a cadence, it's not a rhythm. It's when your front sights are lined up, or it's for when your red dot on your MRDS is on target in an acceptable and predictable sight picture. So what am I talking about there? So if the tip of my pen is my red dot here, okay, if I'm trying to shoot at distance and my gun goes like this, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth, that can be considered slow, can be considered cautious. So how do we fix that? Well, we fix that by having a tighter grip on the gun. We flare our elbows, just our tad to the side. We have a good grip on the gun. We full prep of the trigger, and that helps keep our dot, our recoil in line. If we control our recoil, then that can help control our shot placement in order to, excuse me, not our shot placement. If we control our recoil, that helps us control our shot rhythm, our shot cadence in order to get our shots off more efficiently, faster, mind you. So when we're shooting now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. And in between each shot, as your gun is recoiling, you should be going to a full prep of the trigger. Now, what is a full prep of the trigger? So come on in here nice and tight, Nick. All right, so we're doing a full prep on the trigger. And in order to find out what a full prep on the trigger is, we have to find out how many actual walls, resistance points we have in the trigger. So in order to do that, we double check, triple check, 4 times check that our gun is unloaded. We take the mag well, put it against our belly, and we secure the slide with our support hand. So I'm looking down at my trigger here. I want this gun as steady as possible. Then what I want to do with my index finger, my shooting fingers, I want to get onto the trigger, and every time I feel a resistance point, that is going to be a wall. So on this wall there, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is when that gun breaks. Now, some people may think if you say, hey, go to your pressure point, go to your wall, they may go to that first pressure point right there, be like, oh, I feel resistance there. I feel a lot of resistance. That's my wall. And then they end up, when they fire, going really, really fast on that trigger manipulation. And that causes an inaccurate shot. So now that we know that we have about 6 walls in the gun, the goal of this drill is to get to that wall number 5, wall number 6 as quickly as possible during recoil. Because the sooner I am on that final wall, as soon as my sights settle into place, I can finish that trigger manipulation. The gun doesn't move, and then the gun recoils. I should be back onto that final wall when the sight is confirmed. The gun breaks, and we finish our shot there. So what we're going to do on this drill is, I'll demonstrate it here in a minute from the 10-yard line, but what we're doing just on a close-up here is we're getting to that final wall, we're pausing. We're not trying to have the trigger go click. We're not trying to shoot the gun. We're getting to that final wall, we're pausing. We're going to pretend the gun went boom. We pause, we get off the trigger, and we immediately get back to it as quickly as possible. Pause, off the trigger, immediately back to that final wall. Pause, immediately back into the final wall. What I don't want to see is this. We're not doing that. We want to pause on that trigger, hold on that final wall. We're pretending the gun went boom. Okay, pause, gun recoils, finger comes off the trigger, I immediately get back to it. Pause, off the trigger, immediately back to it. If you accidentally go past it, doesn't matter. And I'll explain all that further at the 10-yard line. So now that we're at the 10-yard line, what we're doing is we're doing that same drill. And what we're going to do is we're going to be at the 10-yard line. We're going to aim at the head box of our target. We're going to have a good grip on the gun, but I'm doing that same thing I did when I was finding the walls. I'm going to get to that final wall. I'm going to pause, let go, immediately get back to it. Let go, immediately get back to it. Let go, immediately get back to it. Do that a couple times. By the time 4 or 5, if the gun doesn't go click, get back to that wall quicker and go deeper, because you're obviously not on your final wall. I want you to get to that final wall. Once it's there, oh, if it goes click, okay, just reset the gun. Back to that final wall, pause, let go, back to it. Pause, back to it. If it goes click, that's fine. Good grip on the gun, elbows flared out, to that final wall, pause, off, immediately back to it. Back to it, if the gun goes click, that's fine. I want you to do that for a good 3 to 5 minutes. And if you accidentally shoot the gun, if it accidentally goes click, that's fine. When we move into the live fire portion of it, when that gun actually goes boom from the 10-yard line, aim at the head box, you'll be surprised on how accurate you are when you don't even mean to shoot the gun.